Verstappen held off a surprise Mercedes charge in Australian Grand Prix qualifying to beat George Russell and Lewis Hamilton's pole. The reigning world champion became an overwhelming favourite of the pole when his Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez crashed out in Q1, but in challenging windy conditions at Albert Park, Mercedes posed an unexpected challenge. Hamilton was just 9 thousandths of a second off Verstappen after the first set of runs in Q3, but the Dutchman was able to pull out a clear advantage of 2 tenths as he delivered a 1:16.732 in the closing moments. It was Russell who was able to snatch a place on the front row, edging out Hamilton by a further tenth and out-qualifying his 7-time world champion teammate for the third time in as many races this season. I think the last run was very good, said the pole sitter Max Verstappen. The whole weekend has been very tough to get the tyres ready to push straight away, but it worked out in Q3 and I'm very happy with that and to be on pole. I think we have a good race car, but it is tricky to keep the tyres alive, so it will be an interesting race for sure. Fernando Alonso, who was finished on the podium behind Red Bull 1-2s in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, was only able to finish 4th for Aston Martin, while his teammate Lance Stroll was 6th. Carlos Sainz split the Aston Martins in 5th, putting off a rare qualifying triumph over his Ferrari teammate Charles Leclerc, who was 6th and 7th. Alexander Albon produced a hugely impressive performance to take 8th as a Williams driver reached Q3 for the first time this season, finishing ahead of Alpine's Pierre Gasly and Haas driver Nico Hülkenberg, who continued his strong start to the season. Having delivered a hugely impressive performance to beat Verstappen in Saudi Arabia 2 weeks ago, Perez hopes of mounting a World Championship challenge had been a hot topic coming into the weekend in Melbourne. However, the Mexican endured one of his worst days in Formula 1, initially struggling badly in final practice on Saturday morning as he went off track several times after missing the beginning of the session while his mechanics worked on his car. Light rains in the moments before qualifying meant conditions were challenging as the season began, with Logan Sargent's early spin in his Williams at turn 13 a clear warning to others. However, Perez didn't learn as he had done in practice, locked up on the way into turn 3 before running into gravel and becoming beached in mud just before the barrier. It was just a really bad, terrible day, Perez said. Already in FP3 we had this issue, we thought we fixed it but we hadn't, so I really hope we were able to fix it come the race, or it will be very difficult to race like this. I don't want to go into too much detail, I don't think it's worth it for us. We have to work together as a team to overcome this problem. Minimising the damage will be really important. While Verstappen was able to fight back from 15th on the grid to finish second in Saudi Arabia, Perez faces a huge task to give Red Bull a chance of extending their consecutive 1-2 finishes this season. It had all been doom and gloom though for Mercedes so far this season, given Red Bull's dominance, with team principal Toto Wolff confirming the implementation of major changes to the design philosophy are underway. Russell and Hamilton said after Friday practice that third row of the grid was the best they could hope for in qualifying, but as the pole position shootout played out with Perez absent, it became clear that W14 were the biggest challenges to Max Verstappen. Verstappen was only able to knock Hamilton off provisional pole by the narrowest of margins in the first run concluded, and the prospects of a first pole since December of 2021 for the 38-year-old suddenly seemed realistic. However, with time left for only for one flying lap after the field pitted for fresh tyres, Verstappen delivered a stunning lap which would be enough to seal a first pole at the Albert Park circuit for him. Russell was able to get within 0.3 seconds, but Hamilton's attempt to get closer to Verstappen fell short after his preparations for his final lap were hindered by Hülkenberg, who didn't leave a clear path for the Mercedes to pass. This is totally unexpected, said Hamilton. I'm really proud of the team. George did an amazing job to be so far up there on the front 2 rows is honestly a dream for us. We will all be working as hard as we can to get right back up the front. So to be this close to Red Bull is incredible. Albert Park is one of the few remaining circuits for Verstappen to win at 36 races. He's only managed 1 podium in his 4 visits there. I have a podium once here, but I want to be on the top set, Verstappen said after qualifying. And before I go, let me run you through the grid for tomorrow's race. Max Verstappen on pole position. I mean, it wasn't by as big a margin as I thought, but when Perez went out, it was already going to be quite an easy job for Max, and he did it well. Another pole. Russell in second, Hamilton says big improvements for Mercedes, and the driver performing excellently once again. It was tight when Hamilton was so close to Verstappen in the first one. Really thought we could get a Hamby there again, but it didn't quite work out. But they're still well positioned tomorrow, and I'm intrigued to see what their race pace is like. Alonso in 4th. Good qualifying for him. Maybe disappointed to miss out to Mercedes, but still very much in contention for tomorrow. And then you've got Stroll in 6th, kind of a similar story as well, close to Alonso again. Sainz in 5th and Leclerc in 7th. Big for Sainz, I think, to outperform Leclerc because he's been struggling so far this season. Ferrari once again, just their pace not where they wanted it to be, but hopefully be better in racetrack tomorrow, although I somewhat doubt it. Albon in 8th, incredible job from him. That Williams has really come alive here, at least in the hands of Albon, great job from him. Alpine, I think Ocon will be frustrated not to get into Q3, but still a good job from him. Hulk was mighty and really even thought he could qualify higher than 10th at one point. He was so fast, but it didn't quite work out. Tsunoda in 12th, once again, really good performance from him, I think, outperforming De Vries. quite substantially. So yeah, good from him. But yeah, De Vries 15th, still struggling somewhat. But yeah, I'll give him some time before we start properly criticising him. Then you got Norris in 13th, Magnussen in 14th. I think McLaren once again just struggling with pace. Magnussen, I think again in qualifying was disappointed to be so far off Hulkenberg. Piastri in 16th will be disappointed to be out in Q1, but yes, just struggling with that car so much. And yeah, Alfa Romeo just had really poor pace so far this week as well. Since Bahrain, it's kind of just dipped off. Sargent will be frustrated to be so far off Albon considering his pace. Another scrappy session for him. And Perez, not much more to say except for just what a disaster day for him. But anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. To like, share, subscribe, let's comment, and for daily F1 news. Subscribe to the channel, it's greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.